there, Knicks fans. How you doing? It's your boy Jonathan Macri here, live from T Squared Social. The Knicks just got done losing to the Los Angeles Lakers in a game that we will touch on shortly. But first, I will introduce my esteemed colleague, Benjamin Ritholtz. Hello, Benji. How are you?
Hello, Jonathan. I'm doing well. Great to be here, despite a little bit of a rough performance. The vibes were down, but we're here.
We are here.
And we're excited.
Are we excited? Well, we'll talk about that. So, so this is the weekly show, obviously, in which we talk about the week that was for the Knicks. And if we had recorded this 4 hours ago, 3 hours ago, I guess, because it's 11:30 right now, boy, oh boy, would we be having a gay old time. But we just witnessed that game. And I think the challenge for us right now is going to be to try to put that game into context, not only with the next season, but with the previous 5 games in which I think we were all feeling pretty good about ourselves. So let's start with this. How much did tonight take the luster off how you were feeling about this team going into tonight?
Is that like a conversation separate from the OG Anunoby situation?
We should probably talk about that, but let's keep it separate for now.
Okay.
Separate issue.
I would say that it doesn't change much about my perception of the basketball team.
Okay.
It reinforced the concerns that I still have that maybe are holding this team back from being a upper echelon contender, true blue. They are with any team in the league, and that is a switchable wing on cat defense that has a chance to slow down the offense, and then it's a small or 5-out offense that can expose Karl-Anthony Towns defensively.
So I feel like the last time we saw a team do something like this to the Knicks, and then the flip side of it. Well, so here's why we're going to get to OG in a second, because that's the biggest story coming out of this game, and it is the biggest story now for the Knicks for the rest of this year, because we don't, at this point, because it is all medical, and the coach didn't talk to medical, except he did talk to medical. But we don't know what's going on with OG right now, but we'll do our best to speculate recklessly. Here's the thing about tonight and why I am as bothered by this game as I have been any game, maybe all season. And I know I don't often speak hyperbolically, but I am going to say that because I don't feel like we've had a game yet this year where the team was exploited on defense, which they obviously were tonight, but at the same time, in the same game with the same scheme, they could not take advantage of it on the other end as well, based on what obviously the Lakers were doing, going small. The Knicks couldn't figure out how to punish that, specifically with Towns, who finished tonight 3 of 12 from the field in 35 minutes, finished with 11 points. So what are your thoughts on that? Am I overreacting? I feel like I am.
I don't know. I would give credit to JJ Redick. I thought the game plan was excellent. I would give credit to the Lakers in general for executing the game plan extremely well and making a ton of shots.
Yes.
Now they were open, but they made a ton of shots, and they give them credit for that. I want to make there's a slight caveat to the success that they had on the defensive end against the Knicks, and that is that without Anunoby in the second half, there were a lot of lineups with both Precious and Josh Hart. And when you do that, when you get those switches, and when a wing's on cat, so they're switching the Brunson cat pick and roll, so there's no advantage created on the screen. The advantage that you get is either throwing it to cat in the post, or it's Brunson breaking down the defense from the top of the key.
Yes.
Those are the ways you break it down. When the spacing is so constrained because Josh Hart and Precious Achiuwa are out there, and there are plays that I'll point out on film where they are ignoring Precious in the corner, coming to help off Brunson spun back, and Austin Reeves took the ball from him on a play where he was ignoring Precious in the corner. There are a bunch of plays like that. So, query as to how much success they would have had OG been out there. And we know OG was a +1 on the game, right? So how much
in 17 minutes,
how successful that would have been with OG. OG is obviously a huge part of the team on both ends of the floor. But look, I do think that this was a unique situation, to your point, where they were exposed on both ends to their weaknesses. But I don't think it changes the fact that we know these were the two areas that they could get exposed. It happens happened in the same game.
Yes.
But strategically, schematically, like, it makes sense to me that they struggled in this game. And the Lakers did all the things that I think the Knicks have to improve on in order to get to the place I'm talking about.
Yes. And credit to JJ Redick and credit to the Lakers who have, it's funny. It's not funny. I've watched enough Lakers games this year to know that there have been Laker games where they play a brand of defense that should not be called defense because it is the opposite of defense.
Yes.
It is that team at times this year, with Anthony Davis in the lineup, by the way, has rolled out the red carpet for opponents. Like, I don't even know what they're doing. You've watched games like this because you watch a lot of games as well. And the fact that they came into tonight so dialed up, just really thank you for that. Appreciate that, guys. But look, it's national TV. It's LeBron. It's MSG.
And of course, LeBron comes at the MSG.
Yes.
And it had not been a blowout. He would have played 40 minutes tonight, by the way. 40-year-old LeBron. So he was ready to go.
He was awesome, and they were awesome on defense, and they were locked in on defense, and it was great. But the thing that is, to go back to, and I keep saying we're going to get to the OG thing, but I'm so focused on the Cat thing because even in the first half when OG was there and in the game, it felt like the Knicks knew what the Lakers were doing, obviously. And they're like, okay, that means they're doing X, so we need to do Y. And it just seemed like either Cat wasn't able to do Y, or what am I missing? Am I missing something?
No, he didn't play well. I mean, he did get some post touches where he had some jump hooks that I think he normally makes, and he missed them.
Right. Yes, I agree with that.
So there's some of that. And I don't think he's been quite himself since the injury. Like, the numbers aren't even close. So I think there's something going on. Like, it's affecting him in some way. Now,
2 threes attempted tonight, and he make one.
He made one. Yeah,
he made one.
But that's the defensive scheme, right? And what we've seen is consistently when teams put a wing on him, the most obvious result of that scheme is 3-point suppression. The Knicks do not get up threes because their easiest 3-point pressure point is a Cat pick and pop. And if you rotate to Cat, then it's a swing to somebody else who can shoot a three. And when that's not available to them, they struggle to generate threes. That's been true all season long. So they can find ways around it. Sometimes they make enough twos where it doesn't really matter because they're so efficient inside the arc normally. Yeah. But that is a real thing, and you saw it tonight for sure.
Okay, let's talk about OG, and then we'll go back to big picture. So sorry, I have to emphasize this. So Tom Thibodeau says after the game that he has not yet talked to medical, but he was able to say that the X-rays on OG's whatever they took X-rays on, which we don't know, were negative. Knicks PR put out a tweet or a statement that said it was a right foot sprain, strain, whatever it is. But X-rays being negative is good. That said, I like sitting here right now. Like, I would probably, if you told me you could sign right here that OG Anunoby is going to miss the next 20 games and then be back and be healthy, I'd probably sign for it. Is that depressing? That feels like a little depressing.
Very depressing thought. Neither have I spoken to medical. I haven't not.
Okay.
So I don't know.
Andrew, have you spoken to medical? Okay. That's good to know.
20 games is really depressing thought, but I don't think it's a crazy thing to say. Like, at this point, without knowing anything, I'll take a healthy OG at some point in the season. And look, this was like the elephant in the room that the Knicks had not sustained a significant injury. Bench guys have been out for certain periods of time. Precious Achiuwa missed several games at the beginning of the season. Deuce has been in and out. Towns has missed maybe 4 or 5 total games. Brunson missed 1 or 2. The Wings have played every single game this season. All 3 of them have played every single
except for Hart,
game.
1 game.
Hart missed a game?
Hart missed for personal reasons. Yeah.
That's right, for personal reasons. So no one's missed a game. The 3 Wings have not missed a game for injury all season. That was not going to last forever. You just hope that this is obviously a contained injury that doesn't last for months. And I don't know what else to say about it. It stinks.
Yeah, I mean, I think it stinks particularly because, again, it's so tough for us to not focus just on this game because it's the game we just watched. But this team had been playing so well, and I think that they have been doing some really cool stuff defensively. And if OG, I think we got a glimpse of to what they are and what they are not defensively if OG is not in the lineup because, I mean, maybe tonight wasn't the best example because obviously the Lakers have LeBron James, and without OG to guard LeBron James, like, Josh Hart tried his best. He tried his best. That's what we could say about that. And there's not many guys of that ilk, but still they need OG because OG even as an off-ball disruptor, and we've seen this a lot this week, and a game with 6 steals, if they're missing that for some period of time, like, we've been talking all season long about their defensive ceiling. Can they get to top 10? I don't know what we're supposed to expect from them defensively if he misses any significant amount of time.
Yeah. And it's with LeBron, like an example of obviously LeBron being like the preeminent big wing. There aren't many other options the Knicks have. I thought they never put Mikal on him. Maybe Mikal could have gotten a shot.
Would you have?
No, because I thought Hart did okay. There were a couple of blow-bys, but I thought Hart did okay. But you see what happens when you're going to have the pressure points of Brunson getting into the action and Cat getting into the action. And both of those were pressure points tonight. They got Brunson a couple times on when he came to screen. They hit the pocket. They scored. Cat was exposed all night in every single way, whether it was an ISO, whether it was in drop, whether it was on switches, he got destroyed. So you have those 2 pressure points that you have to deal with as a defense all game long. When you add a pressure point of now the big wing, you need to send help. You need to send help on the Durants or the LeBrons or the Tatums. OG allows you to just play that straight up and live with the result, and you're not going to make it into a pressure point. This happened in the playoffs last year with Siakam. For the first X amount of games of that series, I forget exactly which game OG got hurt in, Siakam was a non-help situation. It was one-on-one with OG. And when OG went out, all of a sudden the Siakam post-up became another pressure point on top of Halliburton's pick-and-roll game.
Yeah.
Defense can't survive that. It's too many pressure points to make up for, right? You have to draw the line somewhere in terms of when you send help. And that's what's scary about a sustained OG injury and the lack of wing depth behind these 3, which has been an issue. Landry Shamet. What else needs to be said? So, it's that the thought of not having him for weeks on end or whatever it is, God forbid the season is a little terrifying for this defense.
Yeah. And so I feel like we're zooming in, zooming out, zooming out, just to go. So here's where I don't want to go crazy about tonight. Brunson was bad tonight.
Yes.
I thought Brunson had a lot of decent looks that he has made at times or most of the time this season, and that didn't go down tonight. I also thought he wasn't sharp. He had, you could argue that it was the biggest play of the game, that turnover in the fourth quarter, where he got Reeves in the post and then decided he didn't.
He threw it away from Mikal.
And he threw it away from Mikal and went out of bounds.
Yeah.
That was kind of the last moment. But again, he was bad tonight. We talked about Karl-Anthony Towns was bad tonight. Obviously they missed OG for half the game. LeBron was incredible. The Lakers seemed like they were hitting everything, and yet at that point that Brunson threw that turnover out of bounds, it was midway through the fourth quarter, and it was I forget if it was maybe a 5-point game or something, 7-point game, something like that. So for as bad as they were tonight, it wasn't as bad as the final score would indicate. They will play better. Brunson will play better. Cat will get better. Not every team will be able to do what they did tonight. So I want to, but again, zooming out, if we assume the OG injury is going to be somewhat significant, the trade deadline is Thursday. It is almost Sunday. That's 4 days. If you are Leon Rose, there has been nothing but talk about acquiring a center, which is very interesting to me for a number of reasons, because of what it says about Mitchell Robinson and where he might be and where he may not be. We have been on the same page all year, I think, that if you could go out and get another two-way wing, you should go out and get another two-way wing, right?
Yeah.
Shouldn't this put all the more emphasis on that? Because right now, they've gone from 3 wings to 2 wings. Unless you want to talk about Deuce McBride, because maybe that's a whole other conversation. Who would go into the starting lineup if OG has to miss time? But let's do one step at a time. Let's say OG's out they think he's going to be out for a month. I'm just spitballing here because I haven't talked to medical. Would you go out and get a wing?
I would try to. I would try to. I don't know who's out there. Dorian Finney-Smith.
Javonte Green.
Dorian Finney-Smith seemed good tonight.
Well, you know what? It's funny you say that because I know I was screaming from the rooftops until that freaking trade happened. Dorian Finney-Smith. What a great fit he would be. And you, I think, wanted him to as well.
I said it on with Dexter Henry on his show in the SNY studio. I said that's my target. Now, by the way, the Lakers package was nothing to write home about.
3 second-round picks.
Something the Knicks probably could. I mean, look, I don't know if there was a bidding war. The Knicks can't go very far in a bidding war because they don't have much to offer. But
they could have beat that if they wanted to.
They could have beat that if they wanted to. And I get it. He's an expiring. He's expiring.
He has one more year left. He has one more year left.
He's a player option?
I'll double. Are you sure it's player option? It's an option of some kind. I'll look it up. You keep talking.
Anyway, I liked him. And you saw why tonight. He's really good. So I would try. I don't know the wings. Javonte Green is a name that's been thrown out. Javonte Green is going to be ignored on the perimeter. And he is probably no better than Precious Achiuwa. And so if I'm playing Precious Achiuwa at the 4,
player option, you're right.
If I'm playing Precious, he might play his way out of his current deal though. He's playing excellent ball. So yeah, I would try to get a wing. Is Javonte Green good enough to really change this calculus for this team? I don't really think so. I don't think he moves the needle. But they need some bodies. They do need bodies.
Well, that's where I'm going with this. At this point, because you mentioned a name of a basketball player before, ostensibly, Landry Shamet.
Yeah.
How you feel about Landry Shamet these days?
Look, I've said it a lot about Landry Shamet.
You said it the whole year.
I've said it. He lit every single team that has acquired Landry Shamet has given him a chance to play in the rotation because theoretically, decent size, decent shooter, doesn't take anything off the table, plays good pressure defense, sort of. And so every team has given him a chance.
Yep.
And he never sticks. And there's a reason that he never sticks. There's a reason the Knicks brought him in out of nowhere and he played in preseason and then he could have been picked up by any team and no one took him and then the Knicks signed him and now he's like theoretically in the rotation. He's not that good. He's not. You see it over and over, by the way, because the pressure defense that he plays, which he gets credit for, and he should get credit for.
Yeah.
Once that initial pressure fades and the guy just backs him down, there's not a lot of resistance. Like no one feels him anymore. So he's not a big wing. He's actually pretty small wing. He gets beat up on the boards.
He's the size of a point guard.
He just doesn't have a lot of defensive chops to offer. And the shot, he got one wide open look tonight, and he didn't just miss it. He bricked the heck out of it.
I got to tell you, there was something like I try always to maintain my composure and look big picture and not ever get too focused on one game, let alone one play. When that shot, and it felt big in the moment because they were like hanging and fighting and clawing, and Josh Hart. We haven't talked about Josh Hart yet. We'll talk about him, I guess, in a bit. Doing everything to try to keep them in the game. When that shot didn't hit rim, there was something about that moment where I'm like, this isn't going to work for much longer. Because and again, like people have killed Tibbs obviously for the minutes all year. And I don't know that we need to talk about it tonight. Is there a minutes conversation we need to have tonight? Honestly,
there will be those who will, because now that OG got hurt, there will be those taking certain victory laps about how we'll see he shouldn't have been playing so many minutes in so many games. I don't really want to. I don't want to discuss that point of view because I think it's absolute nonsense and BS. But I don't think there's a minutes conversation to have. Brunson played the whole second half. I think Hart played the whole second half.
Yep,
that's a lot. And again, if OG is out, and maybe this is an argument to just get a body in here,
that's where I'm going here.
Mikal Bridges is going to start playing 46 minutes a night if OG's out and they don't sign anybody or they don't trade for anybody, I should say. And yet, even with that said, I don't know if there's a guy they can bring in that Tibbs is going to play enough to make a difference. So that's the struggle, right? Because even if the front office goes out and says we need bodies, Tibbs doesn't just play bodies.
No,
it's not. He just doesn't. So now they're in a bit of a pickle because the team was thin. They were avoiding these major injuries all year, but it was hanging by a thread. You knew it. And now we're on the threshold of potentially having one, and I don't really know what the team does with it. It's a little scary because I don't know what happens with the minutes.
Let's talk about Precious Achiuwa.
Sure.
Because, well, who would you start versus who do you think Tibbs will start? Because, again, there's what do they play? Monday? There's a possibility, OG. I don't know. We could be in uniform on Monday.
Yeah,
it's possible.
Not ruling it out.
I would bet you. I would bet you as many of these as I bet you 20 of those.
Cheers.
That he's not going to be in uniform on Monday, and then he's not going to be on uniform on Tuesday, and then we're not seeing him until after the All-Star break at the earliest. And if that happens, if he's in uniform for the first game after the All-Star break, I'll start going to church. I'll go out to Long Island and I'll go to whatever church you go to, Andrew. Your dad's church, right? There you go.
Yeah, totally.
I'll do if he's in uniform for the first game after the All-Star break, I will go to church.
You said I.
Oh, you don't go to that church anymore?
Usually recording the
Oh, that's right.
Instead of church?
Instead of it's just terrible.
They can't hear me.
No, they can't. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought they could hear you the whole time. What would be easier, converting to Judaism or going out to Long Island for church?
That's a loaded question, John. Let's make it into a segment.
Would you convert to Judaism or this? We've gone off the rails. Look,
let's talk about conversion.
On big take.
It can't be that
It'll
hard.
take something away if you convert to Judaism.
Yeah.
That's not what I was talking about.
I'm sure my wife wouldn't mind. Anyway.
Oh God.
So I don't know that OG's going to be back anytime soon. And that worries me. But let's deal with the reality of assuming he's out for a little bit. Who would you start, and who do you think Tibbs will start?
Tibbs will start Precious at the 4. I would probably give Deuce the first look.
Why? Well, for both.
Why would Tibbs start Precious?
Yeah.
Because he doesn't think he's always hesitant to play since Jalen Brunson's been around. I mean, you can go back to the Emmanuel Quickly conversations. He does not like to play two smalls in the same lineup.
Until the playoffs last year.
He did a little bit in the playoffs last year.
Maybe his hand was.
You can look
forward.
at this year, and he just doesn't like those lineups. He doesn't play it a lot, and doesn't play it with Payne. Doesn't play with McBride a lot, Brunson, and I think the closest approximation of OG's defensive chops are in Precious Achiuwa. So I think that is where he would go. I personally like to avoid Hart plus Precious lineups with Cat as much as I possibly can, but I think one of the considerations would be, hey, if you have Brunson and Towns out there, you should be able to scrape enough points out, even without that extra shooter to make it work. So that's where he would go. I would like to see them try a large sample size with McBride at 2. I don't think they'll do it.
Does it worry you at all that if you start McBride for OG, and again, we're going to assume that they will not be able to bring in an impact wing guard, whatever, like a real like someone better than Javonte Green, right? Before the deadline. Would it bother you that would so deplete any possibility of a spark off the bench? Not that like Deuce is a spark off the bench guy. That's more Campaign's job. Played 6 minutes tonight. But like should that be a concern?
Yeah, but you're dealing with like a bunch of suboptimal options. Like I mean, look, I thought Deuce gave you a spark off the bench tonight. Came in, made shots right away. I mean, like he does it in his own way, but he does it. Like
you're right
with his just solid play and shot making. So that would be a concern, but I think you'll also just see a lot of heavy staggering with 2 starters out of like Mikal will play with the second unit and Hart will play with the second unit, and they'll just kind of mix and match so that someone's always out on the floor. Maybe you compensate for the lack of a spark, so to say.
Okay. Yeah, no, I think that's fine. So then I guess, I mean, with the OG uncertainty, going into the deadline, and obviously we're gonna have a lot of trade deadline content. So if you want more trade deadline content, tune into Knicks Film School. We'll be live that day, and we'll process everything that they do and all the rumors beforehand and everything. But like right now, all that we've heard is what Ian told me the other day, which is like if they have doubts about Mitch, they're gonna try to go get a center. If not, then it might just be like a Jericho Sims trade, and that's it. Jericho Sims, by the way, did not play garbage time tonight.
He didn't?
I don't think he did. Huck Porty played.
thought I saw Sims Afro bobbing around. Maybe that was Toppin's Afro. I was also in a state of depression, so I might not have been paying close attention to garbage time.
Hold on. No, I will give you credit if you are right. Jericho Sims was out there. You're right. So it was a Jericho Sims, Huck Porty, Toppin trio.
Listen, maybe that's where they go.
Maybe that's it. I stand corrected. So whatever. The point is, the tea leaves thus far have been pointing to them making a trade for a big.
And I guess there was some positive Mitch news that he's close to practicing, or
So
close to contact. What I don't know. I don't remember the exact report. Something like that.
No. He's progressing. Yeah. So what do we make of that?
You're saying it could be like posturing for the deadline?
I don't know because I don't trust anything this team says.
Puts us in a tough spot. I don't know.
It does put us in a tough spot. But the fact that they made this announcement today is after like every beat reporter all year long has been just very like throwing cold water on the possibility of Mitch coming back and contributing, or at least that's how it's felt to me. Maybe that's my perception. But
I've been pretty firm on this all year. I'm in the camp of I don't think it would be a wise team decision to in any way rely on his health, Mitch Robinson's help as some kind of contributing factor to even consider him as part of this team when you're looking forward. I think is just not it would be an unwise way to look at basketball at this point. And I say that sadly, it is what it is. It just is what it is. The timeline keeps getting pushed. This happens every time he gets hurt. And then you have to build in the X amount of games that takes him to get back in shape. And then you got to build in the next time he gets knocked out or Joel Embiid pulls his knee, in fairness. I don't know. He could come back and be a huge help. I can't imagine the front office is banking on that. There's no way after what's gone on.
So let's zoom back out. We saw what we saw from Towns tonight. Tonight was not a Towns game. We're going to assume that Towns will be better. We're going to assume that Towns offensively, when the playoffs come around, is going to maybe his thumb will feel better. He'll be able to punish teams more who use this kind of strategy. That's got to be the hope, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because if that doesn't happen, then this whole kind of experiment goes up in smoke. Is a theoretic, because we haven't really talked about this, is a theoretically, which again, I know you just threw cold water on the very idea of a theoretically healthy Mitch, and I don't blame you for that because I've been throwing cold water on it all year. Is a theoretically healthy version of Mitch a value add to the point where, again, we like in a game like tonight, do you think Mitchell Robinson would have made a difference in a game like against the Lakers, what we just saw?
It's funny. I've seen this sentiment out there.
That's why I ask you.
After a game like this, like wait till we get Mitch defensively. Yeah. And I push back on that because it's not like Mitchell Robinson was immune to getting stretched out by 5-out teams.
Yes.
And the remedy to that is actually more Precious Achiuwa at the 5, who can switch everything, than it is Mitchell Robinson at the 5. Now, what Mitch does supply, the defense will be better against teams that you can just drop on, because he's a much better drop defender than Karl-Anthony Towns by like a gazillion miles. And his rebounding and Mitch Robinson's a really good basketball player. I do not like misunderstand he's a really good basketball player when he's healthy. I just wouldn't bank on him being healthy. But this kind of game, Mitchell Robinson gets exposed in these kinds of games also in a different way than Cat maybe, but he does get exposed also because he's not able necessarily to get in and out and cover all the 3-pointers. It's always been a weakness of his.
Yeah, no, and I'm with you. And I just I would love to know internally where they're at on Mitch, because if you look, it's because it's an interesting conversation, because obviously they know who their main competition is in the East. And on one hand, you have Boston, and the other hand, you have Cleveland.
That's a great point. Yeah.
And man, they barely beat Atlanta today, but like the Pacers are coming on, and I don't know. We could talk about who else needs to be like worried about in the East, but I personally am still concerned with the Pacers. And like 2 of those teams, I don't think are great Mitch teams in terms of Mitch opponents. And then the Cavs, obviously, we've seen Mitchell Robinson do very well against Cavs. So it's almost like you have this guy. He's making the amount of money he's making. His trade value is not great right now. I almost wonder if like they're gonna kind of punt on the idea of trading Mitch until the summer, just to see what he could be against Boston, and like if they face Boston. Even though I don't think that's a great matchup for him because he hasn't been great against Boston in the past.
Agreed. And that's where the question comes in, like when they say he's progressing or whatever. There could be two reasons for saying that.
Yes.
One could be because they're reporting honestly about his progress and want the fans to be excited about it. And another is that they're trying to raise his value before the trade deadline. I don't think that's a crazy read of it either.
I don't know what difference that's going to make. Who's giving up something real? Like at this point, I guess are you like, if anything, he's neutral money.
Mm-hmm.
You know, which is like I don't know. But then again, if he comes back, like, what is he going to do in the next several months? Where it's going to significantly raise his trade value between now and the summer? I think his trade value is what it is, and I don't think it's going to change much. But that's my cynical view. Before we give out, we should give out Andrew. We'll give out a game ball for this. Okay. So before we give out game ball and attention, anything else that we should say about the team right now? I feel like again, it's been a lot of focus on the Laker game because it's the most recent, but like. I don't know. What else should be said about this team right now?
They're really good.
They are really good.
They played really, really well this week. There's a lot to be excited about. OG's injury, obviously, with a cloud over it, but the performance against the Lakers, it's never a straight line of progress. It's just not. And the trend line is still very much facing up with what they've done against these Western Conference teams over the last week and a half, 2 weeks. And they have a couple big games. If they can. Again, we'll see what happens with OG, and his health is paramount. If he's like okay and somewhere in the timeline coming back, if they can, scratch out a couple wins going into the All-Star break, I still think, and I'll say it, I still think you couldn't have expected more from this team where they're at this point. It's never a straight line of progress. And it's, by the way, I said it to you during the game. This kind of test it's like important for them to go through these games. Like, Cat. There in the second quarter, there were 3 possessions in a row where Dorian Finney-Smith hit threes on a straight pick and roll with Cat. Cat was guarding Dorian Finney-Smith. They went pick and roll, Reeves, Dorian Finney-Smith. He made 3 straight threes. They called timeout. They came out and tried switching. That's whether the switching didn't really work anyway because Cat got beat. But information gathering, figuring out what the solutions might be against a Boston who plays similar to that, where Porzingis is setting screens and or guard to guard or wing to wing over and over again, just stretching you thin. Like they need to play these games to learn how to solve them. And you still have to look at the season as a process. It's not always going to go well. But you look at the grand scheme of like the last couple of weeks, they're playing really good basketball. They're doing a lot of things very well. The defense was trending up. They just need OG Anunoby in order to make it work.
Yeah, and like, a couple of early possessions against the Lakers were not their sharpest, but I think the rest of the game, as you said, it was about taking what the Lakers were giving them and figuring out the answer to that. They tried different things. It didn't really work, but also give the Lakers credit for hitting just a ton of shots, and LeBron James for being LeBron James. And he's really good. I agree with you. I'm still very optimistic. I think if anything, maybe the last couple of wins, even the 5-game winning streak, has given me, at least, I'll speak for myself, like almost a false sense of security, where it's like I wasn't expecting to be able to get hit in the mouth to this degree, which is why this game really threw me. So, but it's one game. It's one game, and it's a very unique type of opponent. Yeah,
and look, Houston they just got creamed by the Nets, which is weird.
They've
been playing great basketball.
Yeah,
they punked us in game 1. That's a great test. Now, OG will be a caveat if he's not playing. That stinks, but a great test. So come back, respond, play well, and you can forget about a game if, again, the progress continues. You learn lessons. You win or you learn. Someone once said.
Or you talk to medical. Okay, let's give out game balls for this week. So we're giving out game balls for the Memphis game, the Denver game.
Good games.
And the Nuggets game. You are not Jeremy Cohen, right?
A taller version.
But you're
less smart. A taller, less intelligent version.
But you're here. And so you still get to give out the second game ball this week.
Okay. I'm ready.
I get to give out the first game ball, which is great. And I'm going to try not to do recency bias here, which is going to, but at the same time, like, I feel like, I'm deciding between two guys. One guy is more recency bias, and one guy had as good a performance as I've seen in a half of basketball this year. I'll give it to Jalen Brunson. I'll leave the other guy for you. I think I'm not going to speak for you. You could go where you want. I will give my game ball for the week with Jalen Brunson because what he did in the second half against Denver, against the 3 out of 4 MVP winning best player in the league. Not obviously those guys don't guard each other, but like they were still on the court at the same time, going head to head, best player on their teams. And Jalen Brunson was better than Nikola Jokic. And
definitively.
It was not particularly close. Now, against the Lakers, LeBron James, pretty good basketball player, was definitively better than Jalen Brunson. But so that's why it was a little bit of a tough call. But I am going to go with the highest high from this week. I'll give my game ball to Jalen Brunson. His performance in the second half against Denver was the most impressive, probably the most impressive thing I've seen from a Knick. Might be this year. It was that second half in particular. And your film session was extraordinary on it. He was complete mastery of his game. So I'll give it to Jalen Brunson.
Great pick. The one thing I'll say about Brunson, I thought you saw it in the second half, is the team is so good now, you'd never have to go into first drive, first shot mode. And I thought in the second half particularly, it was first drive, first shot mode.
Against the Lakers.
Tonight, the Lakers tonight. It was just there was very little ball movement in the second half. He was trying to. I know he was switching. Reeves was switching on to him. He liked that matchup, but the ball's got to move. This team is too good. They have too many options.
Which is another reason why tonight was a good prep. It was good prep because teams will invite that, right?
Teams will. Yes, I think they will. They will. If Cat's not involved in the offense, it's a win. Like Cat needs to get touches, and I know he struggled tonight. He struggled terribly tonight. Yeah, but the ball movement starts with Cat. You got to get him touches. You got to get the ball moving. I don't know how many assists they had tonight. Couldn't have been many.
It's funny you say that because I looked up before the end of the game, and they had their assist percentage was very good. They finished tonight. Actually, funny enough, they finished with 33 assists.
Holy cow!
On 44 made
good
field
call,
goals. No, but
didn't feel like it.
But you're not wrong because they did go very heavy ISO. Towards the end of the game.
Yeah, I thought Brunson was too kind of laser focused on getting the drive and the shot in the second half. So just he's awesome. The Denver performance was legendary. It is what it is. But great pick. He's great. He's awesome.
Thank you.
My choice will be OG Anunoby.
Really?
Where did you think I was going?
I thought you might go hard because.
I could have gone hard.
Had a good week.
I really could have gone hard.
That's fine. Go OG.
I also thought Deuce had a great week. I'm going to go with OG Anunoby, and the defensive range was displayed this week in a really cool way against Memphis. He had the Jaren Jackson Jr. matchup for much of the game. Did a great job. Was really good defensively in that game. Knicks like one of the biggest storylines of the last several weeks is the Knicks starting to force a lot of turnovers. They've all of a sudden, I think, top half of the league. They were way down for a long time. They're close.
15 tonight. That's very good.
They're forcing a lot of turnovers all of a sudden. And he is the main reason why they're doing that. He forces turnovers against deflections. So he was great on Jaren Jackson Jr. Then against Denver, he goes into full roamer mode. He's guarding Aaron Gordon. He's guarding Peyton Watson, and he is just wrecking offensive possessions all over the floor, closing out across the court. Prime OG Anunoby brilliance as a roamer. And then tonight, I wish we got to see the second half because, I know LeBron got off early. I thought a lot of it was really poor help defense and rotations. Would have loved to see him match up on LeBron late one-on-one because I thought the potential was there for another great defensive performance. And the threes are starting to go in again.
Yes.
He's starting to nail threes. And tonight he made, 2 or 3?
So he was 5 of 7 from the field tonight, 3 of 4 from deep.
Yeah, he's starting to shoot it really well. The offenses look good.
He's been awesome.
Since he made his comments to Bill Pito post game, it's looked like he's come around. And man, I just hope he gets the opportunity to continue that trend. But I'll give him the game ball because I hope he gets well. I hope he's okay, and because I think he's been awesome of late.
He's the skeleton key. He unlocks everything. They need him on both ends. And I don't want to think about what this team would look like if he was out for an extended period of time, so I'm not going to. Detention. We have to give out a detention this week because they lost the game. Given to a player, coach, or entity who needs to sit down and think about what they did for a while. You go first for this. So I'll take. I think there's two candidates, and I'm going to take whoever you don't.
Landry Shamet.
Damn it! I wanted to take
Landry. Prove me wrong. Do me a favor and prove me wrong. Go on a run. Make some threes. Make 1 3. Do something. I think he had all zeros tonight.
What do you think, Landry Shamet?
This is not the first time he had all zeros, by the way. He's had a couple of all zero stat lines.
What do you? I'm going to give you
first half. Landry. He only played in the second half. He would not have played in the second half tonight if OG didn't get hurt. I guarantee it.
This is true. We're going to give you 3 guesses. What is Landry Shamet shooting from 3 this season?
29%.
Higher.
31%.
You only needed 2 guesses. That's why he's the best. That's why he's Big Thread Ben. 31%. That's correct.
Yeah. I don't think he's a rotation player really. I think he's like just below that level, and I hope I'm wrong. And it would be really helpful while OG is theoretically out for him to provide some really quality minutes. He's not really there right now. So he gets my detention. Sit down, Landry Shamet, and think about whether or not you want to fail on another team. You're like 5th or 6th team and fail again. Stop failing, Landry.
It's funny. Campaign talks all the time about how his having to go to China motivated him and like all. I almost made Benjamin spit up his beverage. Maybe he should give a TED talk.
Get ready to learn Chinese, buddy.
Landry, man, choice is yours. I guess I got to give it to Cat. I don't know what Cat's stats were this week. I don't really want to know. I feel bad because he's hurting and he's toughing it out, and his toughness has never been in question this year, and it certainly wasn't in question. Isn't in question right now. I thought he's found a way to contribute in other ways. In the Denver game, his physicality in the fourth quarter in particular was massive. They don't win that game without his physicality in the fourth quarter.
5 assists in the first quarter is what I passed the ball well.
Yes, thank you for that. He was great in the first quarter. This is supposed to be detention. We're giving him praise. But the Knicks are, if they're going to win a title, he needs to be the guy that, he's been for most of this year. So he's not been that guy of late, and they need him to be.
Yeah, and specifically, he needs to figure out how to be a great offensive player when he's not guarded by centers. And that is the key question.
Yep.
Well, the key question on offense. That is the key question on offense. Because if he figures that out, then there's no stopping him. Yep. If he figures that out, there's no stopping him because he put a 5 on him, it's over. If he can figure out how to consistently be great against wings, then they have a real chance. But he's got to figure it out.
And this was a play better adjustment game for Cat. He was just not good. Defensively, he was not good.
He was terrible defensively.
He was terrible. It was his worst game of the season. So for one game, if nothing else, he gets the attention. Okay, predictions. The Knicks play 3 games this week. They play Houston at home on Monday. They play the Toronto Raptors in Toronto on Tuesday. The Raptors had their 5-game winning streak snapped. Hold on, we got something from Ian Begley here. Hold on. The X-ray on OG Anunoby's foot was negative, but the MRI will likely show the full extent of the injury. Apparently, Ian Begley has talked to medical. We'll see what happens there. Anyway, what was I saying? Predictions. Yeah,
Houston?
and then Boston next weekend on Saturday.
Holy cow! I forgot about Boston. Terrifying. Okay.
I will go 2-1.
1-2.
How much suspense there? Yeah, I think that's the correct choice. Well, we'll see. Hey, what's up? You want to take mine or Benji's?
Benji's got to go. So say bye to Benji, everybody. You got to catch a train in like 10 minutes.
Oh, okay. This is awkward. I'm
No,
leaving.
it's not. It's not awkward. We're wrapping up now.
No, we're done.
Coming on to say goodbye.
we could just say
Time for
goodbye.
announcements.
Okay. Anything else? What do we forget?
I know there's a legitimate curse that you're going to yell at us about, but I just do want to thank everybody that came to T Squared Social tonight. We do. Oh,
Sorry. Anybody who came here didn't pay $800 to go to Madison Square Garden. You are welcome. It is a blessing, not a curse. You always got to look at the bright side. Come on.
so then as a result of that, also please come next Saturday when we're here for the Celtics game.
Yep.
Please.
What time's that game?
Also 8:30. So Benji could come to that too.
I'll be back.
Yes.
Yeah.
So please, I understand you're worried that we're cursed because they played the Lakers and OG got.
But maybe you're the person
But-
that's missing. Maybe we
Exactly.
just need you.
I'll go to Long Island if I have to and get my dad to come and pray all over this building.
Can you get your dad to come? That'll be fun.
You know what? That may be what's missing. And then if they lose, then we're gonna start a holy war. But anyway, all right. Benji's got to catch a train. Sign up.
Peace, everybody. Thank you all for coming out. Thanks for a fun
Bye.
night. Hopefully OG's okay. John's reading Shams.
John,
I mean, I'm reading what is obviously a joke of some kind.
what?
Wait, what? Is this real?
No, it can't be real.
That's
What is it? It's a podcast. What are you reading?
I mean, I'll read the words on the tweet. It says
Sean's?
breaking: the Dallas Mavericks are trading Luka Doncic, Maxi Kleber, and Markieff Morris to the Los Angeles Lakers for Anthony Davis, Max Christie, and a 2029 first-round
Is this-
pick. Sources tell ESPN. 3-team deal that includes Utah.
Wait, this is
what the heck?
This can't be real.
this is real.
This is not a.
What the hell is going on?
No, it's not.
That's the real Sean.
What the hell?
No.
What the hell? Yeah. Josh Harjan and Buster are tweeting about this.
The real Shams.
No, hold on. This can't be a real.
What
thing.
in the blessed Lord is going on?
This is not the real account.
No.
Wait, what? What?
I don't understand why John was like that. Hold on.
Luca and LeBron?
All right, you're missing your train. What is this?
A center for ants?
Shout out Ben.
Okay,
You hear
This
this?
can't be a real thing. It can't be real. It can't be real.
for Shams.
No, it's not. It's a.
Luca.
What the
I already know it's Luca. Look at the trick.
Exactly.
What the hell?
No, it can't be real.
This is the craziest thing ever.
A real person. A real person, right?
Nah, someone. I guarantee you, someone hacked this thing.
Someone had to have Luca for Anthony Davis. Yeah, win.
There's no way.
They would doubtful trade Luka Doncic if it was for Jesus himself. Maybe. It's
What?
So the only way this is real.
not real, John. Hold on. It's not real. It's not real.
We're not signing off until we know if it's real.
I think it's real.
I'm waiting for a second person to react.
That's a. Remember who was it? Buster only got hacked or something.
Yes, this is real. It's real. It's real.
Oh my gosh! Sean's just-
Nah, hold on. Yeah, but that.
He's still hacked, bro. Stop playing around. I'm not buying this.
Yes, this is real. No, hold on.
Let's get another source.
What? Why would that? Why would Dallas do this?
So no, hold on. So
They wouldn't break.
So Luca has the No, hold on. Luca has the rest of this year plus the year after that and then he has a player option. So let's say Luca went to Dallas. Let's say he went to their front office and said, hold on. We should probably examine this from an apron perspective to see if it's real or not, but I don't have the mind space to do that right now.
Don't they play the same position, LeBron and Luka? Makes no sense.
No.
Well, just put aside. Let's say Luca goes and says, "I'm leaving. I don't want to be here anymore. I'm done.
Why?
At that point, Dallas is going to say, we're going to do this now ahead of this deadline. We're not going to take this into the off season, and we're just going to try to get. I can't wrap my mind around this. There's no way.
Why would Luka Doncic want out? They just made the finals last year. He's been hurt. They're really good again this year. They
If
have a
he
chance to
wants
make
to
the
live in
finals.
LA, I don't know. If he got into a fucking fight with Kyrie
And so
Irving,
Dallas-
if
So Dallas thinks the best they can do is Anthony Davis for Luka Doncic. Luka Doncic is like the best trade asset. Like, I mean, I know he's been injured, but like, I mean,
also the Mavericks.
Luka Doncic.
Hold on. The Mavericks just drafted a guy who he's not an all-star center, but he's a big.
Their roster is really good.
He's a big-time
Like,
prospect.
no,
and
they can make the finals this year
Yeah,
if he gets healthy.
but let's just say Luka again. I'm entertaining this, right? Luka ass out said, I'm like, you have to trade me now. And they have entertained this notion. They decided we're going to trade you right now. And they're all in on Kyrie. They've traded all their picks away. So they're in a win now situation. Could you argue that Anthony Davis is the best return?
With how many picks? How many picks were in there?
There's not really any picks.
There's no picks.
They're getting one they were getting 2029 Lakers first, which all of a sudden the value of that goes way down because Luka Doncic is on the best.
But explain to me how Luka for Anthony Davis, for all intents and purposes, isn't worth several picks from Los Angeles. As good as Anthony Davis is.
So that's the other part of it is the Lakers have more picks to give. They have the 20-31 pick to give.
How is that not in this deal? At the very least.
No one believes. Everybody's like having the same reaction, which is, how is this real? I'm going to just say I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I think Shams was hacked. I don't think the trade is real.
I think the trade is real.
No, I don't think the trade is real. I don't think the trade is real because it's Luka Doncic.
It's that unbelievable thing. My first thought is he's hacked.
I think our trade.
God, look, would you ever say
I think-
yes, it's real if you weren't hacked? Like he'd have no reason to say.
I think the trade might be real.
No one else is reporting.
So if you're Dallas, so hold on. If you're Dallas, you do the trade because you think this trade means you can win a title. Now, like this is in terms of this is the best trade you can make to keep you in contention.
ESPN just tweeted it out. Andrew's telling us. I can't wrap my head around this one at all. From Dallas's, I mean, look, the Lakers just launched themselves into true contendership. The Lakers just like made themselves the real deal. I don't understand. Now you tell me that Luka wants out. How long have they been exploring the trade market? Have they thought about other options? Why have there been no rumors about this? Where's Tim McMahon? Adios amigos. Where's he been? Like how is this coming out of nowhere?
So what?
I just point out how that. Hold on, I'll go in the middle. So I came over to get you out of here because you had to catch a train, which you're now not catching. And I go back over thinking John's going to sign off. John, you froze because you were reading the tweet. It's like, wait, what? Hold on. Brad Townsend, league source, confirms the unbelievable is true. The Mavs are trading Luka Doncic, Maxi Kleber, and Markieff Morris to the Lakers for Anthony Davis, Max Christie, and a 2029 first. How did Luka only command one first-round pick?
All right, take a step back.
This is
So Luka
react.
So okay. This Shams has not been hacked. Okay, so it's real. So I'm wrong. So this is the second greatest player in the history of the NBA to be traded in their prime. The first being Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I don't even know who would be third. Can you think of who's third?
Dorian Finney-Smith.
Okay. Everybody's retweeting it, so it happened. So it's the second greatest player in the history of the league to be traded in their prime. Not comparable because, although I guess it is comparable because both guys got traded to the Lakers. And both guys got traded for a return that is on its face underwhelming. Although the difference is the Bucks, when they traded Kareem, got a whole bunch of stuff that was not Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. The Dallas Mavericks got a guy who, when he's at his best, is a top 10-ish player in basketball. And in theory, if you pair him with Kyrie Irving and you put him on the Dallas Mavericks, in theory, they could still give a team or teams a good teams a run for their money and maybe still continue to compete, but not really. You're below that threshold. But you have decided as Dallas that Luka Doncic wants out. So we are pot committed. We are going to get the best available player, and the best available player for Luka Doncic at this point was Anthony Davis. Or Luka Doncic said, I want out. I want you to trade me to LA. And obviously LA, the best player they're trading is Anthony Davis. But then why would you honor that? Why would you honor that if you're Dallas? To go to LA? Why not wait on this?
Or they had to trade him somewhere that would give him, that he knows would like anyone would give him the max extension though.
So again, if you're Luka, of course you hold some cards. You have a year and a half left before your player option, and you're eligible to sign the Supermax this summer. So the Dallas Mavericks clearly are trying to get ahead of a situation that they clearly knew was brewing or knew was going to brew by Luka going to them and saying, I'm not going to sign the Supermax this summer.
They could make them final. Why? What is Luka thinking? Why?
I don't think that's, to me.
They could make the finals. They made the finals last year.
Yeah, but Luka always has wanted to go.
They beat OKC every year.
Yeah,
every game they play, they beat them.
But
it's open.
I agree with you. And
LeBron's not. This effery can't last forever.
Yes,
He's going to lose LeBron.
But it doesn't matter because you're Luka Doncic, and now you are Luka Doncic in LA, and every single player that comes through the league for the next decade is going to want to play there with you. It's not an issue anymore. Now you go get caps. Now you play the cap space game.
It doesn't mean that he'll have any better chance of making. I mean, look, I don't know what his priorities are, and it could be. They can build a championship contender around Luka now. They can.
He's the best player. He could be the best player.
And they may be one now. Well, LeBron and Luka is a crazy idea that I never thought about, but here it is. I don't know what to do with it. I mean, it's two of the great creators of all time playing on the same team. And then what I'm stuck with is, okay, so Dallas, they must have scanned the league. You can't trade Luka Doncic without asking every single team.
That's the question, is how much power did Luka have here, and why did he have the power that he had?
And I suppose there aren't that many contracts. I don't know, what does Luka make a year? Like, you have to find a player that makes that kind of money, although you could put several teams together.
Unless you are going to do a reboot and you trade Luka for the picks that he could command. Obviously, Luka could have commanded the biggest pick package in the history of the league, which is why I am wondering how much of this had to do with Dallas being already pot committed. They already have all their picks out the window. They already have Kyrie.
You could have recovered all of them.
Yeah, but you already have all this stuff right now. You already have everything. So you have all these current players. So if you were going to sell everything, you could sell everything and you get a lot of stuff back for the everything, but then you're rebooting your whole franchise. Again, this is what I want to know. How much of this was Dallas saying, we're this close right now? Can we make a trade involving Luka where we maybe go back 5% or 10%, but we still give ourselves a chance at winning a title, versus how much of this was Luka saying, I want to go to LA. I'm going to make my way to LA, and I'm going to make it so that nobody else in the league is going to trade for me because I'm going to put out there that I'm going to wind up in LA regardless.
Right.
So you have to trade me to LA, and you might as well just get this guy back. And did that already happen and just nobody knew about it?
It feels like it has to be the situation.
It has to be that.
It has to be that Luka was like, this is where I'm going, figure it out. Because as good as Anthony Davis is, he's still really good.
And you didn't get the fucking 2031
you got one first round pick for Luka Doncic. I mean, that's nuts. It's Luka Doncic. Can I talk about the Knicks for a second?
Sure.
I'm gonna find a way to spin this. We finally got the karma for the tank. We finally got it.
I'm just.
Derek Lively shouldn't have happened, and now they're paying the price finally. All right, that's all I'm going to say about the Knicks. Go ahead.
I'm like,
Yeah, man.
this is the most stunned I've ever been by an NBA.
Well, it's literally the craziest trade in NBA history.
And yet, on its face, is it? It's Anthony Davis, who is 31, who's a top 75 all-time player, who's obviously an all-star, who's on course for an All-NBA team this year. He's a top 10 player when healthy. Is there a? I mean, I don't want to keep spinning our wheels, but I just
What? There have been rumors about Luka being unhappy in Dallas before, right? And I think he was unhappy with how that season ended that year they did tank. I actually think that was reported that McMahon
It was reported.
that Luka was pissed. But then again, it ended up great for them. They got Lively.
They got
They make the finals last year. It's absurd. This is absurd. They make the finals last year.
All right, so let's end by talking about these two basketball teams as they are now. I don't know how we're supposed to do that, but let's try. So the Mavs, I can't believe Luka got to fucking LA. I can't believe Luka got to fucking LA. This is what he always wanted, and now he gets there. He's wanted this since he was 18.
Is that right? I didn't know.
Come on.
I didn't know that.
Yes.
Stop yelling at me.
I'm sorry. I don't mean.
Angry, dismissive, come on, right in your face. I swear.
Sorry. He has always wanted to go to LA.
Yeah.
Okay.
And maybe that was thinly veiled. Maybe I'm reading too much into stuff that I've read in the past.
Maybe it was thickly veiled.
I don't know. So the Lakers starting lineup is now
Reeves,
who starts at center?
Jackson Hayes.
Well, they got Maxi Kleber in the deal.
He started tonight. I think they'll start Jackson Hayes and they'll play small.
Okay, so Jackson Hayes, LeBron James, Luka Doncic, Austin Reeves.
No, we said Reeves, Hayes.
Reeves is into the deal, right?
Yeah, no, it's Reeves, LeBron, Luka, Hayes, and Rui.
I guess.
Yeah.
With Connect and Vincent and Finney Smith is there still, and Vander. Who else is going?
Vando.
There? Hold on, who else is going there in the deal?
Christie's gone.
Christie's gone.
It was a nice piece. Nice piece. Played well tonight.
So the Lakers now, unless the Lakers are going to go, you know why the Lakers made this deal? They're like, we did so well without playing a center tonight. We're just not going to play. I mean, they could go without a center for large stretches of the rest of this year.
They certainly will. Now, they could explore the market too. They could bring in a Valanciunas or
I mean, hold on.
They could go get Mitchell Robinson. Anybody want Mitchell Robinson?
Why are we talking about the Lakers just got Luka Doncic? It doesn't. The rest of this year is gravy.
You said you wanted to talk about the lineups.
I know. And now I'm already regretting that because they got Luka Doncic.
That's why it's the craziest trade ever.
The Mavs.
Because this doesn't happen. He's a top 5 player in the league. You trade him in his prime. It doesn't happen. You just said it before. It's the only time it's happened since Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen.
It was a different situation because it was
the 1970s. It doesn't happen. He's like the whole friend. It's crazy. I mean,
he was on crack. In the 70s.
Exactly. Luka guarantees their floor is very high for the next 10 years.
It changes everything about their franchise. I was asking openly on the Patreon pod with DJ that I recorded 2 days ago about are the Lakers going to entertain AD trades if LeBron hangs it up this summer. And now for Dallas, I mean, not that anybody's going to care about Dallas anymore. They've just made themselves irrelevant.
Goddamn Lakers. They're not irrelevant, Dallas. They'll still be good.
So Kyrie, Clay, I guess PJ Washington at the 3, Gafford and AD. That's their lineup.
No, they're not going to start Gafford and AD. It'll be
AD doesn't want to play the 5.
I mean, you can't. I guess they could. Okay. I mean, maybe I would. Well, I would suggest they start
Najee Marshall,
Grimes or Marshall.
Hey, guess what? None of this fucking matters because they don't have Luka Doncic anymore. Oh my Lord. I can't believe this happened. All right. I don't have anything else to say on this. I'm just stunned and I can't believe it's real. As apparently everybody else in the NBA can't believe it's real either.
And you know what's funny about it? Doesn't impact the Knicks one lick.
Are we sure about that?
Yes. How would it impact the Knicks? They're two Western Conference teams. Only one gets to the finals if the Knicks ever get there. The Knicks have to beat the same Eastern Conference teams to get to the finals. They play Dallas one more time this year. They play the Lakers one more time this year.
I'll say this. It has been a very long time since I have looked forward to reading I don't know who's going to have the tell-all behind the scenes on this one.
Adios, amigo.
You think it's going to be Tim?
I'm a little shocked that nobody ever. There was.
Oh my God, he's got the book coming out in 2 months.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Are they going to change the cover of the book? I guess it's going to be a Laker uniform now.
They do those Photoshops really well.
Yeah. Maybe it is Tim. I don't know who's going to have it from a Lakers perspective, but I just can't wait to read that because what?
Yeah, I just want to say.
By the way,
that Josh Hart and Julius Randle fetched the Lakers Luka Doncic.
Sure, in a roundabout way. Why not?
Wasn't they traded for Anthony Davis?
Yeah, no, Julius wasn't. Josh Hart was.
Josh Hart was. Josh Hart, the greatest man that ever lived, netted Luka Doncic. The goddamn Lakers are so annoying. They're so freaking annoying. They get the best players in the league whenever they want them.
When's the last time you've been to LA?
Don't me. I haven't been in a long time. Why?
Okay. Having been there this summer, I don't blame anyone who's like, I want to live there and I'm not living anywhere fucking else.
I'm not making it. Okay. I'm not going to fires. I'm not talking about it.
I mean, that part obviously is shout out to everybody. What?
Just saying their downsides. That's all.
No, obviously, but our hearts go out to everybody who lost their homes, obviously. But like, and yet still, I would
It's
rather.
late. It's very late.
And yet, and still, I would rather live LA than any place else in the country. What?
I just love you.
I don't know. I thought that was my fault.
No. It was equal.
Mark Stein, Luka Doncic did not request a trade. League sources tell the Stein line.
Okay, then Dallas should be expelled from the league.
I'm not done yet. The Mavericks did this on their own accord, getting back Anthony Davis, but only one future first-round pick from the Lakers in 2029 for a 25-year-old regarded as a future MVP.
That's the tweet?
This is actually retweeting. Hold on. This is retweeting a previous tweet of his. Doncic has been informed of the trade, I'm told, which was agreed upon late Saturday and immediately ranks as one of the most stunning trade thunderbolts in the NBA.
So could there be an angle where Dallas was a little sick of him? Because there's no question there's a lot of antics. There's a lot of not being in shape. There's a lot of sitting out games. Is there a scenario where they were like, enough is enough? We can't take it anymore. You're annoying.
It's starting to come out now. Shams, the Mavericks approached the Lakers recently and offered Luka. What fucking universe?
Would you like Luka Doncic? What do you guys think of Luka?
Hey, so what if Luka was on the table? What'd you guys think of that? Let me finish reading it.
We think he's a hidden gem.
Are we talking about Tony Douglas here?
We think you can get the best out of him.
Lakers brass met and believed the 25-year-old Doncic had the ability to be the face of their franchise.
Oh!
Hold on. Somebody give the Lakers the executives of the year. Who's running them?
Rob Pelinka.
Somebody,
the biggest doofus in the league.
Somebody check the analytics department for LA because they've uncovered something really special.
Is anyone called Cuban? Is Cuban okay?
In the franchise for the next decade, we're giving Anthony Davis a win now move in Dallas. You're right, because downgrading from Luka Doncic is definitely a win now move. And now here's Timmy. The Mavs had major concerns about moving forward with Luka Doncic.
There you go.
Due to his constant conditioning. You said it.
No,
due to his constant conditioning issues and the looming commitment of another Supermax contract extension this summer. Source told ESPN.
I kind of nailed that.
So hold on.
So let me get this straight. Sorry. So let me get this straight. The Mavericks approached the Lakers. The Lakers said, "We'll think about it," laughed for 10 seconds, and then said, "Hey, we thought about it. Sure, we'll take Luka Doncic."
No, I can I spitball something
Please
here real
try.
quick? I'm going to try.
You may.
Luca, Windy, the Hoop Collective guy we have not gotten on our pod yet. Windy always says actions over words, right? Has Luka Doncic, with his actions over the course of his career, made it seem like he is giving it his all?
No.
Okay. And he is not. He didn't make a trade demand, but is it? I'm assuming the Mavs are looking at this and they're going to say, this guy's never going to take it fully seriously. And they're just like,
They know him better than anybody.
they do know him better than anyone. But, like, is that not an indictment on the organization?
Sure, it is. Yeah. I mean, it is fair to say also that the consensus he's a top X player in the league, which has been the consensus basically since his second year, top 3, top 4, like, is true. But he has also. Never mind. I'm not going to say because he made the finals last year. I was going to say has fallen short of expectations, but because he hasn't won an MVP, he was like every year he's supposed to win the MVP. He doesn't put it all together, but he made the finals last year. He made the finals last season.
I asked Tim McMahon over the summer when he was on the pod.
Flex.
I said, you remember I asked him, I'm like, has Luka Doncic's career been a disappointment? And Tim was like, well, it's kind of tough to say that when the guy's made 5 straight All NBA first teams
And made a finals.
and made a finals. To which I was like, yeah, well, that's a pretty good point.
So like that's where, look, again, they might have the most information, but without access to that information, I feel pretty good saying the Dallas Mavericks are a bunch of fools.
So they were sick of his antics and didn't like that he was always in shape and not always available, right?
Right.
They traded for Anthony Davis.
Yeah. They traded for Anthony Davis, also known as the Iron Man of the NBA.
Wait a minute.
Hold on, wait. You cannot sell me that there was no Luka. Like, I want to go to
I don't
LA.
buy that he didn't have any.
Give me,
input in this.
come on,
Yeah.
man.
I actually agree with you on that. Yeah. The book, that blog, Tim McMahon, get on it.
This is you're gonna trade this guy, and this is the way you go. I mean, I'm not trying to downplay Anthony Davis, and Anthony Davis is awesome. He's awesome. He's a great player, but like, I don't know.
One more thing, and I'll sign on, and then I'll sign myself off.
I
I just want to give a shout out to Fred Katz and Jake Fisher. Shout out to Katz and Shoot. Go subscribe. They did a podcast on Thursday and both landed on the conclusion this is going to be a quiet deadline. And it turned out to be the loudest deadline in NBA history. So there you go.
Maybe they shouldn't subscribe.
This is it's the most stunned I've been by an NBA transaction in my entire life. Maybe a sports transaction.
It's the most. This is the most stunned I've been in my
Wait,
entire life.
they said it happened Saturday night?
Yeah.
So maybe that's why LeBron was acting all happy tonight.
Oh, he knew he was getting
LeBron was feeling good tonight. He was smiling, re-energized. Now that is going to be must-see television. LeBron and Luka play together? That's crazy talk. That's like, you know what that's like? That's it's actually crazy because Dirk played with Luka late, and that was but LeBron and Luka together like reminds me. How many times have you had? It's like Kareem and Magic. Like what are we talking about? Like
It's beyond that because
It's
it is
nuts.
the two best versions of this archetype we've ever seen in the league,
that's right.
right?
That's right.
Because Magic, for all due respect to Magic did not have the shooting.
No.
And LeBron, the shooting is kind of come and gone, but shooting's pretty good tonight. And Luka's obviously, if he's not one of the best shooters in the league, he's close.
How they play off each other will be interesting, but they'll be fine.
I mean, are there two smarter players in the league?
No, and there's definitely not two better cross court passers. Like they're. You always have LeBron or Luka on the floor. That's take a lot of pressure off LeBron on his 40-year-old body. That's gonna be must-see television.
And they still
good for the league.
And they still
good job, Adam Silver.
And they still have
assets. Why don't you shorten the game?
Yes.
Mikal Bridges got 5 picks and Luka for 1.
And there's the Anthony Davis component of this. Again, we are talking about an organization that, based on everything that we have, or like that we know now from the tweets tonight, from everything. So Andrew said, like, Mikal Bridges went for 5 firsts, and obviously Luke is going for 1, plus Anthony Davis. And again, you have to consider the fact that, are you dealing with a rational actor here? No. And I don't know that, based on everything that we've heard about the Dallas Mavericks and how they operate, for really you could go back to the Porzingis trade. Are we sure that this is an organization that traded for Kyrie Irving?
OKC could have offered them 600 first-round picks and whatever,
and Jalen Williams,
and whatever salary filler. Now, maybe I wouldn't blame them for not trading Jalen Williams, but they could have Isaiah Hartenstein, whoever they wanted to trade to get to that salary, and they could have offered him unlimited picks. Like, who else did they talk to? Do we think they didn't talk to anyone else? And that's what gets into, are they lying?
We'll see what comes out. We'll see what comes out.
Is AD from that area, Dallas? Am I making that up?
I don't know where AD is from.
Sounds familiar to me.
I'll try to look it up.
That's about the 300th most interesting angle of this, but I just thought of it.
All right. Man. I guess it's a good thing we didn't sign off when we did. Where is AD from?
I thought he was from Dallas area.
Let's see what Wikipedia has to say. Anthony Davis is from Chicago. He was born in Chicago. He went to high school in Chicago, so he's from Chicago.
Yeah, good call by me. Good call. Let's make sure we get that on the pod. Let's keep that. Let's keep it going. What else can we say?
Benji, final thoughts from you.
Final thoughts. The NBA is a wild league, man, and it never ceases to amaze. The Lakers never cease to figure it out, and makes me nauseous. They just back their way into success. I really, honestly, to God, doesn't affect the Knicks much at all, which is a hilarious part of this. But yeah. Luka Doncic on the Lakers. Sure.
I'm still stunned. I don't really have anything else to say. I think I've said everything that I could say. It's almost 1 a.m. You have to catch a train home. I am going to take tomorrow to process this.
Who knows what's coming next if we stay on any longer?
The NBA, man. It's the best. There's no other league like this. Josh Allen's not getting traded for Lamar Jackson tomorrow.
Runs into the Wizards.
For Jordan Poole. Man.
Imagine that. Dallas went from Luka, Brunson to Kyrie and Anthony Davis. Good luck.
All right. I don't even know. I guess we're signing off. Thanks, everybody, for watching another episode of the Expo School Podcast. We'll be back at some point with more discussion of the Knicks.
Maybe.
We appreciate everybody watching and appreciate everybody coming out to T-Squared Social tonight, which was awesome, truly awesome. And next time we're gonna get a win. I guarantee it.
Against Boston? Jeez, okay.
Sure, why not? Boston didn't trade for Luka Doncic. Okay. We're out. Thanks everybody. Talk to you soon.
Peace.
What the fuck?